Getting ready to do a blue tape walk. I'm at Newmark Homes in Easton Park, which is just on the border of Austin, Texas. This is a new construction home for one of my clients, and we're going to do a blue tape walkthrough. And a lot of builders, if you've never built a home before, when you build a home from scratch and you have a builder that's helping you with it, the realtor and the builder, they kind of work together to help the process along. And toward the end, just before your closing, we do what's called a blue tape walk. Blue tape walk lets us go through, make sure that everything looks the way it's supposed to look. We're not missing anything, dings in walls, doorways, stuff missing, corner rounds, gutters, all that sort of stuff. And so that's what I'm getting ready to do real quick. It's going to be a little bit of a long video, but I guarantee, almost guarantee, that you will learn something, unless you're like deep into construction and have some crazy knowledge, and maybe even then you'll learn something. So I'm standing back here to show you. So the primary portion of the house is this, but this one's unique because there's an ADU. So there's two doors, and we'll do both sections. You go upstairs and there's a whole other apartment or additional dwelling unit upstairs. So it's really cool to see that set up here. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'll start off in the ADU and then we'll go into the main section of the home. So there are a couple things that had showed up on our inspection report. I'm gonna kind of call things out, but you gotta keep in mind, inspections are opinionated even though they're going off of a specific code, and then also it's not necessarily a concern for everybody, okay? So we were looking at this wire. This is for water heater controls, sprinkler system, all looks good. The garage, whenever you see the garage, it's always supposed to slope down so that when you spray water, which is what they were just doing, it flows out. Same with this should flow out. That's just a small construction tidbit. Your garage door sensors. I can see that the door is not installed yet. That's a conversation. This is the 240 volt. We were talking about this. If someone was gonna have an electric car right here, having this door open and close would be frustrating, so it actually makes more sense to have it over there. We talked to the builder about that, but not sure that there's anything they can do at this point. So they just might have to deal. All around, we'll see stuff like this, little floor gaps. And when I was talking to the builder, he was saying that they can't actually caulk it, but the fact that this is an actual miss and a gap, they can extend the flooring and push that along. Hey, bud? Anything like this, weather stripping and stuff, that can all be painted and replaced. And so that should look fine. It's gonna be a nice storm door, see, more weather stripping. Looking at the stairs, how do they look? So this is stuff that'll end up getting painted over. It's probably being painted and drying right now. All right, let's run upstairs. Again, this is gonna be a little bit of a longer video, but there's a lot to talk about. Okay, so this wasn't marked, but they'll know to clean that when they're cleaning this. More floor gaps. I put some blue tape there to show that they have the gap around here. And then later when I was talking, they were explaining that there's gonna be some corner round put all the way around. So I stopped taping these sections because they know that, okay? Another thing I like to look at is all the windows, making sure that they're sealed all the way around. Looks like they're fine. These are little sensors for security. This buyer decided to have security sensors added. So let's see, this is a drop for your TV cables. I like looking in the closet because people miss stuff like that. See, so there's corner round all around, but they didn't put it there. So that's one of those things that people would normally miss. I always like looking under the countertop. As soon as I did that, the builder goes, no, we're gonna put baseboards here and up there. It's like, okay, I just wanted to be able to look because it looks a little worrisome right now, you know? Especially since this home closes in about a week. All right, so this is the fridge. Plenty of, it looks good. This sticks out a little bit. It's not anything that they can do other than play with some of the screws. It's not something that you're gonna mark. I look for any kind of crazy, dings. Like this could be touched up a little bit. That would be, like, here's the question. Would that be frustrating to you? You move into a brand new construction house and you see little chips in here. Would you want them to paint it, or would you want them to just leave you a kit where you can paint it yourself? Because they're just little touch up. The thing is, once you live in this house for a few days, you're already gonna have that kind of stuff all over. So I saw this. First thing I did is I looked up there to make sure that the vent out looks good, but he said that there's a new piece that's coming, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, all these appliances should be brand spanking new, but you just never know, man. You gotta check. So like coming into the closets, this is the pantry right here. I noticed a piece of corner round missing right there. So they've got it around, but they're missing it on that piece. And because they're missing that, I wanted to make sure that they didn't forget it. Same thing here, corner round. They have it there. The mini split, all right. This fell off, so that's something they have to fix. I also taped, let me turn the fan off. I also taped here because it looks like there's some kind of textural thing that they can clean up. Same with on that side, there was a gap, so I had them fix that. All right, looks fine. In here, this transition drops a little bit. I don't know that there's anything that they can do, but maybe they'll paint it or make it look a little better. I think we're done. See, this is one of those things where somebody might say, oh, well, this has to be fixed. You clean it up. And I'm thinking, dude, it's your closet. You're not gonna care. It's not gonna matter. This is a brand new home, but nothing is perfect. And you can't say that that's what do you call it? Like a low quality thing. It's a little bit extra paint is what it is. So I really encourage people to be realistic. I think that's good for the ADU. One thing that the inspectors do, so I'm not doing in this case, but you want to flush all the toilets, you want to check all the sinks, make sure all the appliances work, make sure that the garbage disposal actually drains, your AC kicks on, it's freezing in here, you want to see all your lights work. So those are some of the things that you'll want to test if you're building a house on your own. Okay, smart door lock, that's great. I like that there are the blinds that are inside of here, that's pretty neat. I'm always a fan of those. Nice and heavy door, protection from the elements. All right, you've got your breaker box. One thing I want to point out before we go inside real quick is that you'll notice that they've got their tankless water heater here. Well, when we had that freeze in Texas, some of the tankless water heaters, the ones that weren't insulated well, I guess is how I'll put it, ended up freezing and exploding. And so just think about that when you're purchasing a home. Where is the placement of the tankless water heater? Sometimes, depending on the house, we can't do it in this house, but sometimes we'll have them upstairs in our attic if it's a single story, or if it's a 2-story, they'll have it hiding up there. Remember, no basements in Texas too. All right, so I'm inside the house, and what I would recommend is that you kind of go wall to wall and you walk all the way around the outside perimeter when you're looking. So in this case, I'm gonna go this direction. So let's start off looking at the laundry room. I didn't see anything that was worth mentioning. So there's 2 colors of tape. The green tape is for texture, so there's like a little hole in the wall. So they'll know to come and texture that. It'll only take them a day to come through and do all the texture and paint. So I'm gonna stay to the right here, like I would, more texture. Let's see. So you can see a pretty decent sized floor gap. That's something that'll be easy for them to fix. All right. The ceilings they do not currently have a ceiling fan in the bedrooms, but you've got the 2 little switches, so you know that you would hope that it's blocked and wired for a fan. And it was confirmed by the builder that it is. So I was checking here to see if there's any sealant needed, any kind of caulk. All right. So texture, pretty straightforward. All right, nothing else to worry about in here. And again, we had already gone through and done all of this, so I'm just kind of giving a secondary walkthrough so you can see what it's like and what it should look like. So around here, they're gonna end up staining the edges. So that looks good, nothing else. Okay, a little bit of paint. It gives you a feel for the kinds of things we'd be looking for. This one was an iffy. It's like, The thing is, there's going to be a lot of people sitting here because this is a guest bathroom, and so I want to highlight anything in a guest bathroom or a kitchen or a primary bedroom because you spend so much time there, it's just going to get on your nerves if you're continuously looking at it. So here's another one, a little bit of a floor gap. I want to make sure that we covered. What do we have here? So you can see the texture, some paint on the walls. I don't think there was anything in this closet. No, this closet looks good. And I'll just swing by the paint so you can see. Easy. All easy. A little bit of texture on the corner right there. I'm going to keep going around. All right. So this one, it just got a little bit dry, and so they're gonna repaint that. So some paint down here. See it down in the corner. Got some friends up there. Okay. This is a great example of something that a lot of people may or may not catch, and so looking at it, it's easy for them to add just a little piece of trim down on the bottom. But if this was open, for example, gotta be careful, they're actually replacing the door. That's the thing, see, they're replacing the door. But if this was open, you wouldn't see that. So you almost have to slide the doors and check behind them to catch stuff like that. So I'm gonna come in on this side. Okay. So they've got a media setup here in this room. Plenty of outlets, I love it. They've already marked out that they're gonna do the texture along here, texture along there, paint along there. You got drips of paint all along the floor. And they should know to clean it up, but it's nice to just mark it as a just in case. Because then you come back, you notice that all the blue tape is gone, which gives you confidence that they've addressed most of your concerns. Same thing with the door. They've painted the main door. This looks like a piece of corner wrap. Yep, sitting right there. Looks good. New windows. Okay. We got Gus over here. It's kind of in the way. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you, man. All right, so we always look under the countertops just to make sure that we're getting a good perspective. Again, one of those things that people don't always do. You got to get down low and just see, hey, what does it look like? You're not going to be down there. All right, moving around. Okay, my phone froze for half a second. All right, so you can look. So I open up some of the cabinets and the cabinet doors, and I can see, look, right at the top here. Again, if this was closed, nobody would ever know. But if I'm in the kitchen every day and I start seeing this, I'm gonna say, what in the world? So it's easy for them to clean it up now. This is your one chance to get that done. This is where the fridge is gonna go. It's gonna be covered by the refrigerator. Still good to have it painted, because if you go to sell this later, you take your fridge out and then you're like, oh crap, I never painted the walls. Well, there's your sign, right? Okay, so you've got a little more paint over here. What does this say? Replace toe kick. All right, okay, yeah, down there. So you can see it. It looks really good. And a lot of this was already painted before I got here, because that's how you know it's a good builder, that they take their time and try to cover most of these things before you even arrive. So I'm gonna point out that, see, it's just a little dirty, so they're gonna clean that up. And I think we have one more room after this. So this was interesting. I marked it because it was an ugly, kind of like older light. You can look at the difference, right? And so the builder, he goes, yeah, we'll replace it for you. I was like, nice. And the question is, had I not seen that, would they have replaced it? Maybe not, but the fact that they were willing to and amiable to it is fantastic. I love that. All right, so let's see. A little bit of paint over here. We're almost done. We're almost done. More paint splotches. So this is texture right here between the windows. Okay. All right, and again, you want to make sure all the windows are sealed. And I already went through and looked at them all, but you just want that double check. There's plenty of caulk along the windows, because if you're going to have any air leaks, that's where it's going to be from. I noticed the gap there, so I put thing there. Looks good. This is all, so they even marked it on the shower door, but this is all going to be stained or colored, so you don't have to worry about that too much. They've got the corner round. Nothing going on with this. Texture, there's actually a nail sticking out over there, and so it's just one of those things, while it might not be a huge deal because it's up on the ceiling, it's still, might as well fix it, right? So someone punched the wall, they got a little mad. And then here's the primary closet, and it all looks good. This is the on-cue panel. So I've talked about this in other videos. Basically all of your networking and everything for the home shows up here. That way you don't have to sit out in the living room looking all ugly. And if they make it that far in the house, you're already done for, right? You better hope you have some kind of protection. Anyway, that is the walkthrough of one of these homes with an ADU in Easton Park, built by Newmark Homes. I think overall, after seeing the inspection, after seeing the very little blue tape considering, I'm telling you, I've gone to some builders and the amount of blue tape that I've had to put on the walls is just, it's kind of scary, kind of frustrating. I've had full walls completely marked up. It's just little stuff here and there, very basic. I'm pretty excited for this build. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.